Good morning. It is Thursday, November 10th. Kyle's still jamming back and forth from the intro music. Today, we're going to give you an EV roundup. Talk about NADAs. We're going to call it a manifesto. And there's about to be a new #1 YouTuber.
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know who I am and who I am.
Spoiler alert, it isn't us.
This is super random, but I forgot about this like a month ago. And it's 30 seconds. Ready? Okay,
Yep,
so Southwest sent me this thing. You see that right there?
Southwest Airlines. He's holding up like a mailer. Came in the mail.
I don't know if you got this, but I'm like a Southwest Rapid Rewards person. And I don't know what this means to the world, but I feel like someone's going to grab something out of this. But essentially they were like, hey, you're a Rapid Rewards member.
No kidding.
2 years ago, we scrapped alcohol service on the planes. Hey, we're bringing it back. Also, here's 4 free drink coupons.
Whoa. 4 free drinks. Talk about surprise and delight.
That's exactly what it is. I'm like, I've literally never had an alcoholic beverage on Southwest.
But you're about to.
Well, probably not. But
but you're about to give one to the person next to you.
I'm gonna make best friends with the next
4
person that I
people.
hang out. Like I'm good through October 31st of 2023. So if anyone wants to take me on a Southwest flight,
find him in that line.
Get you 4 drinks, just bam, right?
Make sure you get next to him.
This morning, I was like, in a time where you're just constantly trying to think of like, how do we re-engage? Think about our consumer base. We've got this list of people. What's something that you can surprise and delight your consumer base that's really kind of low barrier, allows them to kind of enter, that's not just the typical, like, here's your free oil change, So I don't know. Think like Southwest.
Surprise and delight in a time when all we hear about is like price compression and cost cutting is like, I feel like it's extra potent.
It's
extra potent.
So
well, there you go. I started the show.
I was like, what's a thing this morning? That's a thing.
We started the show. We're like, all right, we're going to keep it tight today. And Kyle's like, I got this piece of mail. That's so how it rolls around here. Oh, well, we have a really fun thing that we're about to announce. We're going to pre-announce it right now. We've pre-announced it already on November 20th in Nashville.
December.
Yeah. Let's try December, Christmas week. We got a little something special. Clear your calendar. Tuesday, December 20th, between 2 and 4 p.m. Eastern time. We have a big announcement. We're going to announce more details coming up soon, but some of you have been around for more than a year, kind of know a little bit what it's about.
I'm going to pull out of the old hat.
Well, we're going to be live in Nashville. We're just going to say it that week. Kyle and I are wheels up tomorrow and Saturday, heading out to Palm Beach that I think survived the hurricane just fine. I know some people were without power, so if you're there, we hope you get restored quickly. We got boots on the ground telling us that like we're going to be good. Modern Retail Conference going to be in full effect. We're going to be making content from there, teaching a creative track, doing our live streams from there, grabbing all the smart dealers and industry partners, trying to get them out to you. So follow along over the next Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and we'll bring you as much as we can. We got some news to talk about today.
Let's get into it. I'm so interested in this first deal.
This really took me by surprise when I read it, right? The first headline, NADA released its NADA guiding principles on evolving business models and the dealer franchise system. Let me help them for a second. I'm going to rebrand that and kind of call it NADA's 2023 Manifesto. Insert an emphatic expletive at the end of that, whatever it's a taste, because that's really what it reads like to me when I read it. I mean, it's obviously buttoned up. And
well,
the team there,
let's start with this. If anyone's like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to read a thing. It's not.
No.
Go click on it. It's 4 pages. It's really only 2 pages. And you get a really clear sight line on what NADA is thinking, what they're probably having conversations with dealers, industry partners, government, at OEMs. And so just like, you got to go check it out.
It's not a thing to read. This is like, I'll call it a SODU length, right? Even we can keep up with this document. So the team over there, PR team, Jared and Juliet, they always crush it. They are leaning in. And here, we'll give you a little excerpt from it because I don't know if we have it to put up on screen. But basically, it says like franchise system title. And it says NADA. And every time they're for something, it's in green box. When they're against it, it's in a red box. So it says NADA is for using the dealer franchise system for all new vehicles sold and serviced. NADA is for each state applying its regulatory requirements to all entities allowed to sell motor vehicles in the state. NADA is against the further creation of different sets of regulatory requirements for different OEMs for the distribution of motor vehicles. And they go through and they hit on 4 or 5 big topics. And when it comes to direct-to-consumer sales, when it comes to transparent pricing, right? NADA is like, we are for order reservations. We are for transparent pricing. We are against inventory allocation ordering programs that fully embrace the franchise distribution system. So I think they did a fantastic job with this to let everyone know where they stand.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty simple. So don't like go trying to think they've kind of, I wouldn't say this is like the solution matrix. This is just the stance.
No,
you know,
this is the line in the sand.
So don't think of it as like, oh, they figured out how to do things in the future. And I think, you know, what I'm constantly encouraging is, okay, so if you're a dealer or an OEM and you're looking at this, like think of this as like the core guiding principles. And then there's still iterations and there's still elements of this that are flexible and agile to be consumer centric. So the hard thing about drawing a line in the sand is you're drawing a line in the sand, right? Where it's like, this is what it is. But the good thing is it gives you the freedom to kind of work within some constructs. And I would say, like, for me, if I'm NADA, I'm kind of I'm going to people and like, it's almost like a petition or like or like, you know, a signatory, like these are at least our core principles and we agree and adhere to this. And then we iterate off of that. That move would be really, really strong. And if you could get a whole bunch of, you know, dealers and OEMs in the same room, I think that move would be so good to do.
Gonna make a humble suggestion. And that is that you start, well, I really mean that too, is that I think what could be added to this and championed, because when you go in and you start drawing lines in the stand, right?
I hear you.
Everybody starts stepping back, right? Like, exactly. They start loading the weapons, right? Put on the bulletproof vest, right? Oh, I guess it's going to be like that. But really, I think there's an opportunity to say NAD is for the absolute best customer experience imaginable.
That's
right?
The one thing that
NAD is for building community around the product of automobiles, right? And then starting there and then positioning themselves like, and this is why we are the best obvious solution for doing that well. So we'll see how things evolve. I know they
just
believe
as
that.
A note, I don't know if anyone heard in there, but that's kind of, you know,
it's kind of a soda. It is a soda's position. So I mean,
that's our position
because you know we kind of wrap our arms around it all. It is. We need to make our own little manifesto. That'll be V2.
There you go.
First, make content because you know what you believe. Second, define what you believe so other people can sign up with you. All right. Speaking of, I don't have any. I don't have one.
I got nothing.
Speaking of a kind of
EV news is always on the horizon.
Stop. All right, I'm not even going to play the whole segue button in that. We're going to give you a little roundup. So that we're trying something new today. We're going to give you 3 stories rounded up in a topic of EV news roundup. So number 1, Tesla has started hiring for Cybertruck production, according to job listings seen by the publication Electrek. There's 6 listings, I believe, or 7. You can click through and go to it from the notes. Mainly job titles for operations and engineering positions related to producing the exoskeleton body that is the Cybertruck. As you know, they ordered the world's biggest casting machine. They're going to produce the whole exoskeleton. That's panels and frame in one stamp. So obviously they need some engineers and people to make sure that's going to go well. They're going to surely have a few things to figure out as opposed to the usual model, which is a steel frame with panels put onto it. So they've listed out there. That's an indicator. They said, you know, early production 2023, mid, mass production end of 2023. So proof says that they're getting going. Next story, Rivian CEO RJ, is it Scaringe? Scaringe said, I've never said his name out loud, said demand remains strong and a second shift is now running at its Normal, Illinois plant. That's the name of the town, Normal, Illinois. It sounds like they're trying to sell us on something. I bet it's not normal. After posting a $1.7 billion loss in Q3, which is more than the loss same time last year, which was 1.2 billion. So the plant actually has an official capacity of 150,000 vehicles. The initial target for this year was 50,000. They cut that back in half. So now the target is 25,000. I know, it's like good news, bad news. Currently, they have 113,000 pre-orders, which is more than they had last year. They had 98,000. Now they have 113,000. They only made 25,000 this year if everything goes well. But On the bright side, they do have $14 billion in cash sitting in the little piggy bank. They said that's enough to keep running the company through 2025.
Here's just come on. See, what other industry is like, yeah, we got basically a year of pre-orders. We have no clue how we're going to satisfy them, and we're cutting our current production. Everyone's still good.
No, they didn't cut they didn't cut. Oh, you mean like cut it from 50 to 25. Right.
Yeah.
Well, they just added a second shift. So maybe that'll be 50 next year. But even so, if you're on that pre-order list, you got a little while to wait. Lastly, in the EV roundup, Volvo is going all in on its flagship EV. It's a 3-row EX90, which will begin production in 2023. And they're like, yo, year number one, we're making 60,000 of these in 2024. And we think
they're going to do it too.
Oh, yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. I mean, that's like the strength of the, traditional automotive manufacturers. Like they know how to make a thing.
They know how to process that R&D, get engineering through. It's just, it's
a strength, which is why they're going to come back roaring. This is the first of their Vanguard line, which is going to transform their entire brand to all EV by the year.
No,
2030. And like we said, they do predict that their first year's output will completely be pre-sold. So
I have no doubt. Yeah. I mean, the thing is here is like, I'm also pro, legacy OEM only because, that they have kind of these standards and structures in place. Everybody's been saying even like, for dealers, it's like, oh, our dealer's going to sell EVs. And it's like, nah, they're going to put everyone through some product knowledge and they're still going to sell the cars. How are OEMs going to sell EVs? Well, they're going to do some R&D, transform the line, and they're going to do EVs. Like it's not, to me, like that next step is actually not as mind boggling as I think people would think it is. And these new entrant OEMs are recognizing how difficult it is to scale up engineering and production.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really a set stage for someone coming up front doing this new thing. And then, like the OGs being like, oh, okay, we see what you're doing. Watch this. Yep. Watch this. Speaking of watch this. Stop.
Segue.
Time. It's not bad. That was probably the best one.
I'm proud of that. Yeah.
Probably the best one. I could do that.
Good work.
So YouTuber, we've talked about him on this show for the last 2 years, which is a little bit of a brag, right? YouTuber Mr. Beast is about to take the spot as the number one YouTuber in the world with almost 113 subs. Well, actually, this is the current. We have it up on the screen. PewDiePie, PewDiePie, don't ask, is the number one holder right now with 111 million subscribers. Mr. Beast is almost at 111, so there's less than a million people behind them. Mr. Beast is acquiring 1 million subscribers every 5 days.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
This guy is just, it's unbelievable how quickly he's growing. And, like my perception of I'm always like, he's probably like, in his early 30s. This dude is 23. He started on YouTube the age of 12. Or at the age of 13 in 2012, and his first viral video was, and a lot of people don't know this, was just him counting to 100,000. Like that's what got him going
on screen.
On screen.
Took him 40 hours.
Like, just totally changing the game of what it looks like to be, and people keep saying like, how does he keep going bigger? Like, how does he keep doing more crazy things? And like it's obvious as his imagination goes, the money is free flowing, it's ready to go. He just turned down a $1 billion offer
with a B business. With a B. So is that worth, is proposed to be 56 million. He turned down $1 billion. He was having this conversation with Gary Vaynerchuk,
right?
And Gary was like, good thing. He goes, people underestimate the ability to sell products in mass when you have this type of site. I mean, he's got other YouTube channels. That's just his main channel. Right. And he's like, you misunderstand the actual retail merchandising value of a brand that big. Gary and Mr. B said, I don't know. It'd probably have to be somewhere like 10 billion.
Yeah.
And Gary's like,
and you think
I don't even know if that's enough.
And you think about like his alternate stuff, right? Like he's got, Beast
Gaming,
Kitchens and stuff like that. Like his ability to just spin up attention and revenue is so fast right now. Like it just, the scale is so quick because when you have that much attention on brand, like whatever you do just all of a sudden becomes attractive, right?
Yeah. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. It's family-friendly content. My kids watch it all the time on YouTube. Then he started like giving money to people, right? Like you watch this Halloween short, right? He's like, people are coming up, little kids, he's like, here's $10,000, here's 2 iPhones, right? And then this one guy's in a wheelchair. At the end of the short, he goes, here, you want $10,000 for Halloween? He's like, I came here for some candy. He's like, I have this jar of peanut butter. And the video ends. The guy goes, I'm allergic.
Oh, no. I haven't seen that one.
So either way, check it out. Mr. Beast. It's a lot of fun. And I'm happy to say, Miles, my son Miles and I were talking to him. And Miles, about this story this morning. And Miles says, we've been following him since he had 3 million. I was like, yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Well done.
So there you go. We hope that gives you the energy you need to get into your Thursday. Heads up. Head on a swivel. Think about that surprise and delight Kyle talked about in the beginning. A lot of stuff's changing. Make sure you're establishing what the new center is.
Let's go.
Get